Hello, everybody. Welcome to the wrap-up of the 30 Days, 30 Critique Sessions. We are going to finalize all the numbers and put the final dollar amount on the donations that went to Give Kids Art. But before we do that, let's take a little bit of a look at what happened in the background here and some of the little nitty-gritty details that you just don't see when you look at one video at a time. We had 616 images were entered by F64 Elite members, and I think that deserves a good strong round of applause. 616 images. Without them, we wouldn't have had any critique sessions at all. So I think we owe them a nice strong round of applause there, because we had some great images coming in for us to critique. We had some awesome images for us to showcase. Even the images that were critiqued were awesome. It's really hard to pick showcase images when the caliber of photographs was very high. So kudos to all of you. Thank you all so much. It takes a lot of courage to be critiqued, especially to be critiqued when your name is on it. That's going to go out to the entire internets of YouTube, right? And stay up there forever. So I applaud you. I really do. And I thank you. So go ahead and light that comments feed up and say thank you to all the members here, because we learned a lot of awesome, valuable tips from those individuals. And how many tips did we learn? Well, it looks like there was 147 individual tips that were taught over the course of 30 videos over 30 days. That's incredible. 147 tips in 30 days. Now, each video might have been one topic, but we could have learned 4 to upwards to 8 things in one video. So I mentioned we had 30 videos. We had 30 critiques. We actually had 32 videos in this series. How many hours and minutes do you think that equaled if you added all of them up? Well, if you guessed 7 hours and 29 minutes, you are correct. If you happen to make it from day 0 all the way to day 30, you watched 7 hours and 29 minutes of education in 30 days. And what that means from an editing standpoint is you can usually double or 2.5x that number, and that's what was actually recorded. So I don't even know what that looks like. Maybe 15 hours of content recorded that then got whittled down into the 7 hours and 29 minutes. Over the course of all of those videos, we had 96,587 views, almost 100,000 views. Now, that's not exactly where I wanted to be, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But 96,587 views over the course of this 30 days, 30 critique sessions, which actually equated to 386 days of content being watched based on YouTube analytics. 386 days, that's about 1 year and 21 days of content that was watched over a 30-day period for these 32 videos. Now, I did take these transcripts and dropped them inside of ChatGPT, and I asked it how many bad dad jokes I had from the transcripts, and it said 14, but I think it was being very kind. I'm pretty sure there's at least triple that. Now, let's not forget some of the wild things that happened too. I somehow managed to turn myself into a floating head. I also turned myself into SpongeBob and Bob Ross. All 3 of them made their wild appearance here because of the twists. And those twists made for some incredible education that we wouldn't have had without them. Now, before we get into the donations, I want to talk about some of the things that were held against us here. You know, in the military, we would do this thing called a hot wash. And that was after every mission, you would look at what worked out really well and what you didn't do so well. And usually we would focus more on what we didn't do well than what we did well, so that the next time we went out on a mission, we could do things the right way. So looking at the numbers here, I was really distraught by about day 10. And the reason why was because the algorithm started to work against me. Now you can see in this figure here, this is actually a chart of the views, and you can see how they steadily decline, with some views popping up here and there, but there's a steady decline from day 0 that goes all the way down to day 30. You're going to see a big spike in the middle. And what I tried to do there was I tried to come up with a video that would branch out of the community videos that I was being put into. What most people don't realize is there's 2 different types of videos on YouTube. There's many different types of videos, but they really get boxed into 2 different categories, either a community video or an outreach video. Now, an outreach video is a video that you do so that it goes outside of your community and you pull in new subscribers. A community video is something that you do only for your subscribers. Now, as a YouTuber, I wanted these to be outreach videos so that we could get more eyeballs into this idea of critiquing, because I want people to critique images better, not just for themselves, but for other people, to be kind to other people while they're doing their critique sessions. What happened was I got put into the community box by the algorithm. So these decline in numbers is because the only people that were really watching this were people that were already in the community, whether that's the F64 Elite community or my subscribers. And what I noticed by day 10 is I stopped even getting my own notifications for my own videos. Now, what that means is that all the numbers start gradually decreasing. This played a big role in the donation amount because my goal was that subscriber count would help create and generate donations for Give Kids Art. The truth behind this, though, is that many of these videos I received negative subscriptions for. And you might think, why would you get negative subscriptions? Well, there's sometimes that people realize that the content might not be for them anymore. And sometimes when a video goes out and that person watches that, it might not connect with them and they might unsubscribe, and that's totally fine. So for most of these videos after day 10, I was getting negative subscription numbers. So even despite all of that, we were still able to generate a very handsome donation for Give Kids Art. When I say we, this is not a me thing. This is a we thing. Everyone came together to make this happen. So here are your final donation numbers for Give Kids Art. All right, here we go. $8,022 came in from individual donors. That would be 138 individual donors donated $8,022. Wow, that's absolutely incredible. Then we also had that Circle of Dreams donation that came in at $5,000. And then when it comes to F64 Elite donations, we had $2,543 from the F64 Academy donations. And that came from either the 25 cents for each subscription, the 50 cents for each email, the $4 from each monthly, or the $20 from each annual. And that total came to $2,543. Now you'll know that my goal was $6,400. And I didn't reach that goal. Now, someone was watching this very carefully and they sent me an email and they said, you know, if you don't reach that donation amount, I'll cover it. So with that donation that topped off the $2,543, we needed $3,857 to equal that $6,400. If you're doing math, which you're probably doing it right now as we go, we as a community raised $19,422 for Give Kids Art. Wow. That's absolutely incredible. You know what that comes out to? That comes out to 1,295 art kits. That's almost 8 years of programming for 50 to 60 kids based on the numbers that SJ gave us from Give Kids Art. Wow. When I look at that final number, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. This was a project that when I started it, I wasn't sure exactly what it was going to do. I actually made this post on my Facebook page, and at the end of that post I put, I hope by the end of these 30 days, we can spread some positivity, learn some stuff, grow as a community, and give some art to kids in need. Even if it only moves the needle a little, it'll be more movement than there was yesterday. You look back on that and I had no idea what this was going to produce. I had no idea how we were going to come together to do this. I had no idea that people would come together to be so generous for Give Kids Art. And that's all because of you guys. So it's funny, I'm in one of my elite roundtables and someone said, hey, I'm just waiting for when you're going to do 60 days and 60 critiques. And I was like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can handle that. There was a lot of pressure around this, especially when the algorithm started to kick in and started to pull those numbers down. It was very difficult. Will I do this again? Maybe not to this caliber, but you better believe that we will be doing something again like this next year for Give Kids Art. Because to me, I feel like this is a phenomenal thing. People coming together for the things that we love and to help people and to spread a little bit of love and a little bit of charity. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. This project was incredible. And we made a lot of things happen with this. Generosity, positivity, education, all rolled up in a 30-day project. I mean, what else could you ask for? Thank you all very much.